Hi, I'm Teacher Melay and welcome to this lecture video. So our topic today is biological null hypothesis versus statistical null hypothesis. So you are of course familiar with what is hypothesis. This is defined to us in our basic education years as educated guess. So this is our guess which will be tested, and we have what if it of course talks about some statistical processes. For instance, it is a biological null hypothesis, while if it deals with measurement, it is a statistical null hypothesis. And we know that we have this null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, and we also have to check this using inferential statistics for us to come up with a decision. So in our basic concept in statistics, we made mention in that topic that we conduct, or rather we have the second division of statistics, which is inferential statistics. And we say that this is because of its foundation, which is the probability. Because when we are conducting inferential statistics, what we want to know is whether we are going to accept our null hypothesis or reject our null hypothesis based on probability values. Okay, so when do we say that it is a biological null hypothesis? And when do we say that our hypothesis is a statistical hypothesis? It is a biological null hypothesis if it talks about the biological processes. So this is actually biological processes. And for a statistical null hypothesis, so we say that we are talking about measurement. So let's have example, like for instance, the one that we discussed in the independent and dependent variable. So for instance, for the plant growth. So in the example one, we want to know, for example, the fertilizer, the type of fertilizers and the plant growth rate. So if the null hypothesis states that, let's say that the effect of the fertilizers to the plant growth or the same, the effect of the different types of fertilizers or the same in the plant. So that is actually biological hypothesis, null hypothesis. While if the statement is that there is a significant difference in the growth of the plant when they are given different types of fertilizers, then that is a statistical hypothesis, simply because we already have this plant growth rate as measurement. Or it can also be stated that again, if the situation is that different amount of fertilizers were placed in the plant, and that is your independent variable, then it can also be stated as another statistical null hypothesis is that there is a significant difference in the higher the amount of fertilizer placed in the plant, the higher the growth of the plant. So that is also again a statistical null hypothesis, simply because of the amount as measurement. But of course, do not forget to place that there is a significant. So just to emphasize that it is really about statistics. So it is the significantly higher amount of fertilizer can, or rather the higher amount of fertilizer significantly affects the plant growth. So that is statistical null hypothesis. Okay, let's move to example number 2. So different types of disinfectants and the growth of bacteria. So if we stated as, again, the effect of the disinfectants to the bacteria are the same. So it's just simply a biological null hypothesis. But if the statement is that there is no significant increase, or there's no significant effect in the growth of the bacteria, or the different types of disinfectant do not significantly affects the growth, the decrease, or the elimination of the growth of bacteria. So that is again is statistical null hypothesis. So for example number 3, so daily supplement to boost vitamin C in the body. So it can be that, for example, a comparison between brand A and brand B. So the type of vitamin C supplement do not affect the amount of vitamin C in the body. It is a biological. While if the statement is that there is no significant increase or decrease in the vitamin C in the body using the different types of supplement, or supplement A do not significantly differ with supplement B, then that is statistical null hypothesis. Or it can also be stated that the amount of vitamin C in the body in using vitamin A is not significant to the amount of vitamin C using brand B. So it is statistical null hypothesis. Example number 4. So effect of sex in the temperature of the mice. So here, if we say that there is no effect, or the temperature of male and female are the same, so it is a biological null hypothesis. But if it is stated as there is no significant difference between the temperature of the male and female mice, so that is again statistical null hypothesis.